Jason's got the stories, Nicole's got the flair. Joe's bringing humor with a dose of care. Three voices, one mic, we're here to chat. Welcome to our show where the fun's at. Two news. Two booze.
And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to Two Noobs, Two Boobs. Our bi-weekly episode, sometimes weekly, but we're not really good at it. How you doing? We got Nicole sitting in the bottom left. She'll have no clue where to put the audio cues for the
I never do.
link,
I never
subscribe,
do.
and follow. And then we got Joseph.
Awooga, he's gay. Right here. Every Saturday.
Every Saturday, gay.
Brought to you by Gun Oil Lubricant.
Whoa.
Remington.
Whenever your
Shotgun.
Glock needs to get cocked, use that gun oil Remington.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
crying.
Oh yeah.
Use our
Anyway.
code Two Noobs, Two Boobs for 1% off.
Oh my god.
Nicole's gonna die. Somebody call medic. All right. Well, anyways, welcome
Hey,
back to
what's up,
another
y'all?
episode.
Oh my god.
Is anyone
We're-
still here?
yeah.
God dang it.
If you survived that last 22 seconds, welcome back to another episode of Two Noobs, Two Boobs. And
Yay.
go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, notification. Oh, Nicole, you're getting so close.
Did I do it?
Turn it to the other. No, the other way. The other way. Can you do like this? Or why don't you just use your other hand and point? There you go. There you go.
Hey.
Yes. Yay, we got it right. We
Yeah.
hit that like, subscribe, and notification so you know when we go live. Well, you know when we drop an episode. I don't want to say go live, but you know when we drop an episode. Woo!
We
What's
should
up,
go
y'all?
live more often.
Hey,
Pretty good.
how you doing?
We should.
Hey, Daddy.
Whoa. We should do it every day. Let's just quit our jobs. Well, me and you,
No.
Yeah.
Nicole. Let's quit our jobs.
Our morning show.
Let's not do that.
Like,
Okay.
welcome to
keep-
the Two Noobs, Two
No.
Boobs AM show.
I don't- AM. It's almost 1 o'clock.
No, I'm saying when we go live, on our own radio channel, like the Two
Oh,
Noobs,
we're
Two
gonna
Boobs.
be yelling in radio voice at 1
Oh
a.m.
yeah. We'll be the 2 a.m. slot, that nobody listens to, except truck
No
drivers
one-
and
Right.
newspaper delivery people.
It's the quiet storm.
There
Yeah.
was a story on the news about how AM radio is dying.
What AM
AM
radio?
radio is boring. Yeah.
It's boring. I'm not listening to some dude talk about nothing for. I mean, I do that with you two, but
With
still,
with static.
yeah.
Yeah.
horrible
Added texture.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I guess AM was like the only radio. Like that was the first radio, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still used for local radio. So
Yeah.
And like emergency
within
support.
antennas.
Like if the world were to end for whatever reason or various, whatever. That's like our emergency line for stuff.
Yeah, it's good for local emergencies for sure.
Mm-hmm,
So can we tap into the AM radio network, like, and just steal a channel?
I'll tap into something.
What
So you got to do something to get it like rebroadcasted farther away from just where you're at.
That's true.
Because you
I'm sure
remember,
there's a
like,
way.
you remember, like, back when cars only had tape cassette players,
Yes, I do.
right? And then you got your CD Walkman, and
Uh-huh.
then you could plug the jack into the CD Walkman, and then it was like a cord attached to like basically a tape cassette. You remember that?
Yes, I had one.
And then they had the one where you could plug it into your lighter, but you
I
had to
had
tune
that
it
too.
into a radio station.
Radio station.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
remember that. Old.
old people.
I mean, that technology, like I was looking it up, it's still there. So like if you're doing like church functions or doing your own like drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love a drive.
Well, it's also a lot of people that do the Christmas lights and stuff at the house that have
That
their,
one.
their music synced. You just
Oh,
drive
yeah,
up
yeah.
and it has the radio station to tune into.
hmm
So that's pretty cool.
You know what I do like? I'm a big fan of. You guys see? I'm sure you have, like on TikTok or Instagram or any other social media outlet, that they've got all those houses that are like lit up, and then various like they'll tune it, like you said, to the music, but the music is like hard rap. I'm a big fan of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Huge
like when they
fan.
have like the talking heads, like it's like synced to it, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's my favorite of the Halloween
And they had that
decorations.
one. It was like a pizza delivery guy, and he's like being robbed. And he's like, "I'm robbing? Nope, I'm shooting at him now." You see like the hand come up. It's like a real police call or some shit. It's like ridiculous.
So good. I love
Yeah,
that.
What?
yeah,
I gotta look that up.
it's pretty funny. So what
Uh,
you all been up to the past 2 weeks?
getting ready for Halloweeny.
Halloweeny.
Oh, I saw
Say-
Beetlejuice last night.
Did you?
What did you think? Tell me everything. Start from finish
I
and go.
it was great. Like it's hard to make up like new lore for such a good
Yeah,
film from the past. So they definitely borrowed all the fun elements from the first movie
good.
and try to cram everything into an hour and 45 minutes. I felt like it could have been longer. I would have been happy with like 2.5 hours because they didn't explain everything like that was new.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
It was like super action packed in the third half. So um
So do you think they're gonna do a Beetlejuice?
I mean
The
they
third movie?
kind of left it like it could have happened. It's
You know, if you say
available.
his name 3 times, he shows up. Yeah.
They're rebooting his. They're
great
rebooting the
marketing
franchise
strategy.
for sure. But it was good. It was cute. New soundtrack is still amazing as ever.
Mm.
Love Danny
I
Elfman. Great.
I love Michael Keaton for
Yeah.
many reasons. I really do. He is. I've seen a good chunk of his stuff. Of course, Batman. Wonderful as when he was Michael Keaton was
Yeah.
Batman. So good. And I also I was watching something recently again on the internet because I had nothing better to do. He was speaking at a college and a commencement, and he goes, the last thing he says, "I am Batman," and everybody
Yeah.
lost their minds.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, "Yes,
Have you
he
seen the
is
movie with?
Batman."
Have you seen the movie with him in it? That's it's called Birdman.
Yes, I was just. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
It's good. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'll have to check it out. I already have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Because Michael Keaton, has he done anything?
Not.
Yeah, he played
Yeah.
Batman in the new Super or Flash movie.
Oh,
He played
yes,
in
Oh, the Flash.
that's
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
that's right, yeah, you're right.
probably the best part of that movie because everything else is crap. And then
Well, I can't look at. Well, I do like Batman though. Ooh, speaking of Batman, no. Long story
RoboCop.
short, he hasn't been. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he hasn't been in anything except for that Flash movie.
He was a voice in Black Ops 2.
yeah, and he was also the Vulture in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Right.
forgot about that.
The voice of Ken in Toy Story 3.
Yeah, he's played in some stuff.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not completely irrelevant.
So he
I
hasn't
like-
done any important roles since this year. Okay.
Well, besides Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you guys remember Batman the animated series from our days in our childhood times? It's on Prime, and I've been watching it all week. You guys, there's 3 seasons, but each season has 25 episodes in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been sitting here just
Is it
back
still
in.
just as good?
Oh my god! And also, ladies, animated Batman's kind of hot. He's got square jaw, and you're just like,
He's Bruce Wayne. I mean, they don't have like
I hear you.
ugly Bruce Wayne.
You see that Robert Pattinson version of Batman? Good. But
I thought that movie was
It's fine.
great.
I'm good. He can stick to Twilight. Thank you very much. But I'll tell you this. So hot. So weird. Anyway, but yes, very good. And I was like, this still holds up. And what I do love about any of the DC, Marvel, anything, I'm a huge comic book nerd. I like the different, what's the word? Different, aspects of Batman. And I see why people are always like Batman versus Superman. I get it. Because he's got the gadgets and the moves and things, but Superman's got the laser eyes, and speed and all the things. And he can fly. Come on. But not to open that can of worms.
It's
but
human versus God.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also just forgot how much I love that show, and I've been watching it, and I'm like, I loved this as a kid, and I still do. It still holds up. It's very good.
Yeah, I watched
Highly
it
recommend it.
religiously on the way home. Like when I get home from school.
I
It was
remember
the first
watching.
thing I did.
Yep, me too. It was like
Just-
3 o'clock.
Yep. Just get
And
down.
you're just
Batman animated series. Let's roll. And I'd watch that, and then I'd go outside. I had to watch it. Like, it was amazing back then.
so good.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
very
check it out
good.
again. It was a good episode. But anyways, I mean, he
Mm.
is a detective, you know, if you kind of think of it.
Yeah, well, he's got
Superhero detective.
yeah, and then like Alfred. Oh, I love Alfred. Let's just do.
Yeah, we've been also watching Agatha all along.
I've heard that's good. Do you like it?
I love it. I never watched WandaVision, so like
Mm.
Oh, you need to watch WandaVision.
I like piecing things together now that I'm like almost done the first season. But like it's pretty good. It's well done. Like it,
Well,
great characters. They're funny.
I just I watched something on somewhere again, and I don't know if I don't want to spoil anything, but if you watch it, go ahead, just watch it, and then we'll talk about it. But,
Oh,
like,
okay.
go ahead. Anyway, but yes, I've heard it's good. I caught like a couple episodes of WandaVision. I feel like I should definitely go back. I'm going to go back and rewatch it, and then start Agatha.
Yeah,
Good.
WandaVision is really good. Like, when you first watch the first episode, you're kind of like, what the hell is going on here? And then, of course, it kind of explains
Yeah.
as it goes. Like, but I like how they did the genres of, like, TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see when you watch it. It'll make sense what I'm talking
Gotcha.
about. But
Yeah.
it's
The only
it's
thing
good.
that like pulls me out of it is like the one character, the guy. He's one of the main gays from Heartstopper. So now he's playing an American,
Oh yeah.
still gay, but like sometimes I'm just waiting for him like to like not have a good American accent, which does slip out every once in a while. I just think it's funny.
the British are stealing American jobs,
Yeah.
American acting jobs, because they're better acting and they have a better American accent than we do.
It's fine. I'm alright with it.
It's
Okay.
crazy, but you don't have some American being like, "Oh, bloody limey," like acting in British movies, because
Bloody
'cause-
Lively.
yeah, because Americans can't do a
And-
British accent. We
And
cannot
this
do
is
it.
why they look at us the way that
I know, right? It's just we can't do we can't do a British accent.
can't be out here just going pip pip.
But like I
cheerio,
watch, yeah,
like-
chip chip cheerio, governor. And then you got. you got
Imagine like a whole like show where it's all Americans doing like the worst like accents, and they do that. Oh, I'm British. Hello.
hello, but I like some
And
bloody tea.
and then just bobble their heads
Yeah.
around. Like
Yeah,
this.
they fish and
Yes.
chips. A proper piss up, right? Like just talking like just the most.
Hello, mate.
Yeah,
Like, that's
they're like
not
Australian
good.
all of a sudden. They have the
Right.
worst British accent ever, right? And then it's like,
Not good.
yeah,
But it's like a serious drama.
it's like
Days of our
set in like
lives.
Agatha
Yes.
Christie time,
Yes.
Days of our British lives.
Days of our British lives. Just
Yeah.
like,
That'd be a
"Hello."
great show.
but it's also filmed in America.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, could I get a like,
Oh,
yeah. So
Harry.
Terrible.
you are a wizard, Harry. Like,
You are a wizard, Harry.
yeah,
Like,
but
so
I mean, we
bad.
just are not good at British accents, but the
No.
British can knock out any
They do
American
us
accent.
so well.
I
It's
know,
so
like-
good.
The entire freaking cast of Walking Dead is British.
Oh, I know.
I know. Like I was like, rubbing one out about Maggie, and then she's talked in like a interview, and I was like,
Oh, wait.
she's British. I was like, what are you
Hold on.
talking about? Just really killed my boner,
Sir, please. This is a Denny's. What are we
This is a
talking
De-
about?
This is a Denny's.
This is a Denny's.
No, but I mean Maggie, Maggie from Walking Dead, she's a smoke show.
Yes, of course. Yeah. What is
favorite
one more
show.
time?
Smoke
Wait,
show.
Oh, okay.
Goddamn certified smoke show. But yeah, I was like, she has like a southern accent because she's from Georgia, She's like,
Georgia?
oh, those zombies are gonna kill us, like, and
Then
then
there.
yeah, and then I hear her talking. She's like, I had a brother, a property. She's like all posh, I was like, what the?
Jeez.
How's it? How?
Mhm.
How is that even possible? How do you keep
Mm.
that even in like character the whole time?
Mm.
Because, the sheriff Rick, British.
Yep.
Norman Reedus, not British. You got
He's American.
he's full American. Yeah, but you got all these characters that are like the The guy with the stick. What's his name?
Morgan.
Morgan.
Like,
British.
his character, yeah.
You know, I mean, like, so you got all these characters. It's insane. So good. Tip of the hat to you there,
That's
our
one thing
friends
I guess
across
I'm.
the pond, and your
Yes,
great American accents.
you do American accents
Yeah.
so well. We're so
Yep.
proud of you.
We'll still beat you in a war. But anyways, all right.
All right.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay. That's too soon.
Too soon. You know, 200 something years. It's fine.
Too
He'll
soon.
get over it.
Interesting.
America.
America.
Eagle Screech, bitch. No,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Real,
Yeah,
real-
when I was working with the British, it was 4th of July, and it was when I was on that island, and they had the Brick Club. So 4th of July weekend, they called it Treason Day.
Oh Lord.
So they had, like a
Treason
party for us. They're like, for all you Treason Day, you know, had it up. It was pretty funny, man.
Do you know that other countries have like America parties?
Believe it.
Yeah,
Like, and I think like Japan is one of them, and I think
yeah.
that's
Christmas,
amazing.
like Japan Christmas is insane.
Yeah.
But that's
They have, like-
American, like Western, you know, Westernized
Yeah.
holiday. But they celebrate it like, you know, Saint Nick. Did I show you that? Did I share that, guys, with you on TikTok? The Coca-Cola made Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you sent that to me, and I was like, "Are you
Really?
high again?" We talked about this.
You were high.
No, I said you were, and I said, "Right, we talked about this. Stop sending me shit at 3 a.m. Okay, I have a job."
Sorry. I figured you want a break between the dick pics, you know.
But going back to bringing up 4th of July.
Yeah.
You know what's also a good time?
What?
A good thing to do around 4th of July?
Crack.
Murder.
Murder.
Murder. Oh, is
Whoa.
it because it's hot?
I don't know. Maybe like emotions might be high, but maybe.
Yeah, you're,
I feel like people.
sweaty and just angry.
Murder definitely happens more in the warmer months than it does in the cooler months.
Right.
Yeah, it's too cold to go outside to kill anybody. Like, ugh.
Right.
Like
Who's
I'm
gonna-
gonna. You just wake up. You're like, I'm gonna kill somebody today, and you like go out and there's like 6 feet of snow. You're like, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mm.
Ground is too cold to
Yeah.
make a hole for the bodies.
Yeah, it's like. Kink.
That's enough. Honestly, that part. That's why murder don't happen in the winter months because the ground's too cold.
Yeah,
You
and
can't
then you're
dig
gonna
anything up.
stab. If you're stabbing, you're going through like 4 layers of fucking like warm clothes. You're not gonna penetrate.
No.
Definitely not gonna penetrate.
Okay, so anyways, Joe, you sparked my interest about what you did last summer.
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah, well actually this is 2021.
COVID.
Everybody, Joe's diary.
Yeah,
Again.
but like so this one it's actually I think it's on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
They actually made a little whatever about it. I think it's 48 hours. It's called The Snapchat Clue.
Okay.
If you're interested in watching something about it.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys know Bart and Krista Helderson? You guys know them?
No. Not personally.
So they're like Wisconsinites. They had 2 sons, Mitchell and Chandler. Mitchell worked in tech, and Chandler he was in college studying IT, right? Living at home, working at an insurance company.
Mhm.
Everything was great. They were doing good. He's graduating, and Chandler he secured a job for SpaceX right after he graduated.
Hell
Mm.
yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah. So yeah, it's end of semester 2021. Things are honky dory, everything's great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an
Hunky-dory.
accident. Chandler slips and he falls down the stairs. Oh no, he hurts his neck so bad. He can't doctor thinks he'll be all right, but he has extreme neck pain. He asks for a neck brace. Mom has to do stuff for him. Dad has to drive him around.
Mm.
Damn, it sucks. So like it really put a damper on the end of that semester. And so like his caring dad really wanted to make sure he didn't ruin his new job coming up. So like let's he's like, well, let's get your transcripts, make sure everything's right. We don't want to mess up your job. So yeah, cool. Yeah. So Chandler gives him the email, like, okay, email them, do whatever. Gets reply, no transcript. Oh, I'll get you another email, Dad. Talk to them. No transcript. Doesn't get anything. Third email. These are all fake emails that Chandler gave his dad.
I love
I was
it.
like, not getting these transcripts from the school. What's going on?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, that's weird. We didn't like. So eventually, Bart's like, all right, hey, I'm gonna call the school. So he calls the school, and the school's like, oh, Chandler hasn't been here since pre-COVID, like
Shut
over a
up.
year, over a
Shut
year.
up. Oh my god.
So he texts his son, hey, I called the school. I know what's up. I'm here to talk whenever you're ready. So he goes. Chandler comes home, and then Chandler's mom gets a text. Hey, Dad's phone is dead. Can you pick up some soda from the store on your way home? Okay, whatever. And then she comes home. Dad's not around. What's going on? He's missing. Let's file a missing persons report. Blah blah blah. Where is he? Couple days go by, and then mom gets suspicious. Like, son, where's your father? Like, you were with him last. What's going on? Where does she go? Where does mom go? The neighbor comes over. It's like, hey, we're supposed to meet up with your mom. Like, what happened? Oh, Chandler says they went camping for the weekend for the 4th of July. Like, oh, they're out. They always go camping on the 4th of July. They'll be back Monday, don't worry. Then Monday comes. Uh-oh. Don't know where they're at. They never come home. All right, so that's weird, right? People are just missing.
Well, they're dead.
Two family members missing. And only one person lives at the house. What's going on? All right, so Chandler does have a girlfriend this whole time, right? Like one time during this missing going on, he asked her to bring a shit ton of ice over to the house. Out of ice, just bring ice. Need ice for the whatever.
I need 47 bags of ice.
Never explains why. She never I don't know, asks or knows where it's going.
Let me
I
get
don't
all
know.
the ice you have in stock. Thank you.
I think I'm paraphrasing. This might all be wrong, but so what was it? And then so he disappears. He too was supposed to meet up with her somewhere. It was MIA, but she still had his location on Snapchat because he once cheated on her, and to make up for it,
No.
he was gonna let her know where she was. But that dumbass forgot. So she went on Snapchat and saw his little person 3 miles away in the woods. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna screenshot this shit and send it to the cops.
Good for her.
Cops go out there and they find Dad's torso.
Just a torso?
Yep, and some other parts. There was a oil drum full of the weapons that he used to
Yeah.
cut him up and whatnot.
Mm.
They're like, oh, this is crazy. So they're ask around people in the area. And a local farmer was like, oh yeah, I saw that guy a little while ago, randomly going around my farm. They search the farm and they find Mom. So it turns out he was never in school. He
Mhm.
was never going to work. He never had a job at SpaceX waiting for him. The only thing he had waiting for him was a jail sentence.
What? So what was he doing? I mean, I guess we'll never know, or we'll find out later. But what was he
He was
doing
just
in between this time? Just collecting the money? Yeah, just Dad send me the money for the tuition, and then I'll
yeah.
turn it in,
Mhm.
or
Yep.
whatever, right? And then
That happened. So I yes, that's literally what was happening. Probably handing him a check to hand to
Yeah,
the bursar office, and he
yeah, but it's
never did that.
2021. Why don't you do direct deposit that shit?
right?
Right. Or even I don't well, when I was in school, it was basically just like, the loan people would take care of that. They just send the money and whatever, right? But if you're like you're saying, paying in cash, this or whatever, or however you're paying it, you can either do it or I don't know how people did it if they were paying cash. I think they just wrote a check and handed it to the bursar's office.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking piece of shit.
Well,
Isn't that crazy? Like,
it happens when you murder your parents for
No,
stupid
I mean
reasons.
just in general. Yeah, I mean obviously, right? But one, you go to school, you're not there. You come home, you lie. You try to freaking
Hmm.
cover it up. Oh, let me send you all these fake emails on this shit, right? And
Yeah.
then once your dad's like, "Hey, I'm here to talk," like I kind of know what's going on, like I just need you to admit it, right? Be a fucking
Yeah.
man. Like let's
Yeah.
let's talk this out. Which his dad seems like, I don't know much. I'm hearing the story, but pretty understandable
Right.
response, right?
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
well, hey, dad's phone died. Get some sodas. You're trying to create this shit, and then mom's like, "Well, where the fuck's your dad at?" Like,
In 4 days.
yeah, like he's
I'm
never
trying to
left
see,
me
like,
before, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, did he have all this money like stocked up? Because he was saying like he was gonna go to Florida to work for SpaceX. Him and his
Mhm.
girlfriend were looking at houses because she
Yep.
was gonna go with him. Like,
He
well,
was a
like,
sociopath, freaking psychopath.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, it's the same thing. Can I tell you first of all, I love that. Thank you, Joe, for that. I'm a big fan. Big fan. It's also this like it's same thing with like family annihilators who do the same thing. They do it because like for instance, they either lost their job, can't afford their bills, whatever, and decide that they are embarrassed. They are too embarrassed to deal with life after that, and then just decide to murder everybody and themselves sometimes. It happens so much. And it's wild to me. Or it's even the same people who like murder their spouses because they bad spot getting divorced and then they end up murdering their spouses because they don't want to go through the process of divorce, of the embarrassment of divorce, as well as the monetary issues when it comes to divorce and alimony and child support. They don't want to do it
Yeah.
because for whatever reason, right? The embarrassment, whatever. So grow a set and just divorce your wife. It's not you're not the first one to get
Well,
divorced.
it's.
Like
I
like
think a
it's not
lot
that
of
big a
it's
deal.
the quickest fucking thing that they can think
Yeah.
of, right? They
It's the
want out
easy
of
yeah, it's the
they
easiest.
want
Yeah.
out of the situation. They already got some side piece. They've lied
Mhm.
their ass off to that side piece, right?
Yep.
And then the side piece is like, well, when are you gonna move in with me? And then he's all like,
Mhm.
oh, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden his wife's
At
dead.
this at
Fucking
this specific time.
yeah. And then he's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
Like, what? She's crazy. I mean, look at the Scott and Stacy Peterson case, right?
Lazy. But
Lacey
yes, you're right.
Peterson. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Look at
Yeah,
that
but
one,
you're right.
right?
Yeah.
Like he had a side piece going on. He's lying to
Mhm.
her, saying he's traveling all over the place. Lying to his wife, saying that he's got to do a business trip, but he's going to his
Mhm.
side piece's house. And
Yep.
then he buys a boat that nobody knows about.
Like right before.
Yeah, like right before. And then Christmas Eve, like, oh, Lacey
My wife.
hasn't showed up.
Right.
Like, I don't know where
Yeah.
she's at,
My wife's
She's
missing.
pregnant.
Right.
And he goes on this whole extravagant fucking thing of
Mhm.
6, 7 months, 8 months, a year, whatever the time frame was, of
Yep.
hiding the fact that he murdered his fucking wife, pregnant
Mhm.
wife, instead of,
Mhm.
you know what, I don't like you anymore. Sorry, I dumped one in you. Let's just, my bad. I'm
Not
gonna
a
look like an
dump one in
asshole.
ya.
Yeah, sorry I dumped one in you, but I'll pay child
My
support for the
God.
rest of my life. But he just wanted to go the short, easy, lazy fucking way out.
Mhm.
And I hope he's getting pumped in prison right now.
Probably is.
I hope
oh, for
somebody's
sure.
dumping one in him right now. But like,
Definitely.
it's insane to me. Like, just the straight, it's just laziness.
It's you're
It's just
right.
straight
It's
laziness.
totally it's total laziness. It's also like for instance, the having to I don't know. Again, you think you're the only one who's ever been divorced, who ever will be divorced? Like, just
Hmm.
get over yourself. Get over it. You're not the first one or the last one. Like, no one really cares. People get divorced all the time. It's not that serious. Like, it's
Yeah,
it's laughable to me. Like, you do
they should make
realize
it easier. They'll reduce murder.
you do realize that
Oh,
like you not only ruined your life, like I don't really care about you. You care ruin the lives of your wife, your children, your parents who now have to look at you. And that was my child, and he murdered his entire family because he was too embarrassed to tell us about tell us how he was having issues in his marriage. Like You're not special, idiot.
What
Like
about that
that's
one in
wild.
Colorado where he dumped his wife and kids into the like
Oh yeah. And they have to had to bury them in special caskets because their bodies were highly flammable because they're covered in
yeah
fuel.
yeah
Oh my god.
Like again, you're not special. No one really cares about you. Clearly, like wild, and I feel for the victims. Obviously, feel for their families, like the grandparents. I couldn't imagine those people like having a now and then the parents of said person you did said murdering. Now you have to look at yourself and really go, that was my kid. My kid
Mhm.
did that. Did we do something, or was that something he just thought was a good idea at the time? You know, or like you said, the easiest way to get out of something.
yeah. It's the easiest way to get out of something.
Right. And like, did we raise him like that? Or
Yeah,
like, was that always in him, or was it something like
and
random?
it's just almost impossible. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's almost impossible to get away with murder nowadays.
I literally was just gonna say the same thing.
I
With
mean,
all
there's
the
just too
everything,
much.
with all the
Um,
cameras and everything on GPS, and
Your
literally
digital
like,
footprint all over the
right,
place.
you're no one. You really can't commit murder anymore. Like, you really
Yeah.
think you're not
oh,
gonna
It's a
get caught
shame,
like
man. It's a
right
shame.
after the fact? Can't even murder people in the daylight anymore. It's
God.
wild.
Oh,
man.
God, I miss the good old days of just murdering people and getting away with
Right.
it.
You could pick up a hitchhiker and they don't have a iPhone.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
just
Or
dump that motherfucker right into the
or
ravine.
Zelle. Like you want to donate to like any random loose change you have to the homeless, but like, hey, do you want to Venmo me? Like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
I mean,
Crazy.
I know we talked about the serial killers before and like that time frame, but it's like
Mhm.
I think that they knew that those serial killers were so smart that they knew that
Yeah.
they didn't have the technology to catch
Mhm.
them, and they could just
Mhm.
do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Right. And I think
Maybe
I
they were
listened to
time travelers.
maybe. I listened to a lot of obviously I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts because I'm a millennial woman and that's what we do to, make
Feel alive.
right, to feel anything.
Because you can't commit your own crime anymore.
To,
Right.
prep
Live
Because
to prep for
vicariously
your
through the rest.
fucking
because
self
for
Take
two
defense
notes.
reasons.
classes.
Mostly for two reasons, because I'm too pretty for jail, and also the female rage in me really needs to come out somehow. But like the thing of it too is like I think we were talking about they're talking about how like back in those days when like obviously like the technology was one thing that they couldn't trace that stuff, right? But it's also they were talking about how like the environment that some of them were like living in at the time, there were a lot of different murders happening in California because of like the pollution in the air and all that stuff and whatever, right? Like environmental hazards that added to their psyche not being completely correct, if that makes sense. So like with like who is it? Names I can't think of right now, of course, and there's so many of them. But most of them, all those people out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll never know, right?
No, we won't.
I think there's a lot that ties into like the interstate system, a lot of traveling, people moving around for
I,
jobs.
yes, and the
They had no
hitchhiking
photo
and all that stuff.
IDs, like you could
Yep.
just print an ID up and have your, oh look, my name's fucking this today,
But
and you could
there
go
was
get a job
also
and
there's also the police at the time, right?
oh,
Anybody
they're
who
ignorant
like
as fuck.
ignorant and also untrained and not,
Hmm.
and automatically just assumed anybody who was missing was an automatic runaway. Like people
Hmm.
aren't running away. Like they don't do that. And or like even with like prostitutes and all those people, right? They're not, oh, well, she's just a prostitute. Like who really cares? Like she's still a
Hmm.
person, you animal. Like what is wrong
Well,
with you?
it's like, and I was talking to you guys before we started the show, like there's a documentary on Netflix right now about the Zodiac killer, and the Zodiac killer, like they believe they know who it is now. So if you go
Mm,
check it out, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. It is freaking great. But the suspect that they think did it befriended a family of like this mom and like 7 kids, and he was a school teacher, and he was teaching the kids how to do code, and he was taking the school kids how to do coded messages, and then he
mm-hmm,
was taking those kids around and going to all the locations. Like they remember, like they're interviewing these people as adults. They're like, yeah, I remember being here, blah 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 blah, for these certain events, and they're all murders. So he was bringing children around to eliminate himself as a suspect,
mm,
right? So like if they see him, you know, Oh well, I saw him, but he had like 3 kids with him. Like, he ain't fucking,
Right.
he ain't murdering
Right. He's
anybody.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
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 So he's doing this, and that movie Zodiac with Robert Downey Jr. and
Mm-hmm.
Jake Gyllenhaal, they kind of touch on that person, the big dude in the auto shop. They interview, if you watch that movie, that's
Mm-hmm.
him. Um, so they touch on that person, but the cartoonist that is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, he became so obsessed with this crime that he was like actually like watching him after, and the guy started like calling his fucking house and all, like basically like, I know you're fucking watching me, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like started like harassing him back. So
Yeah.
it's go watch it. It is great. I think it's Mr. Lee or something, or Zodiac Killer, Mr. Lee, or some shit. You'll see it. It's on Netflix. It's a new release. It's great. It's worth watching.
Okay.
And
I
how
love it.
this
Yeah.
family is tied to all this like serial killing, and they had
Mhm.
no clue because they were younger. So it's like it's wild. Um,
Can I tell you? I love Netflix, and I'll tell you why. Because of all the different true crime stuff they got on there, and some of it the less popular stuff, right? And one of my favorite Netflix series is The Staircase. It's like a quick, maybe like 8 episode docuseries about this husband who's been in jail for years for was accused of murdering his wife, essentially, right? And why it's called The Staircase is because they found her body at the bottom of the staircase of their home, and his kids are adamant that he didn't do that, right? He's like, he would have never, that sort of thing. And now I think this happened back in the maybe early 90s. This happened, and then now obviously all the kids are adults, right? And the father's been in and out of jail for this same crime over the last 30 years or something like that, because of being he was accused once, and then he was convicted, and then they found more evidence, and then they released him, and put him back on trial. It was a whole thing, right? So now the man's like in his maybe 70s at this point, and it's very good. And then of course they tell you like, oh, one of those, they end it kind of like, what do you think? And I'm like, he murdered, he
Hmm.
pushed her down those stairs and then whacked her. Because they was blunt. It was not only blunt force trauma from the staircase, like falling, because they did see evidence, because there's blood spatter all down the staircase of that she had fought. They had found her, but there's also some blunt force trauma from the prior to the fall. And they think it was a poker from their fireplace that he hit her with, and then caused her to fall. And couldn't find that poker for a really long time, and then maybe like recently they found the poker like in the basement of their house that was like sealed. Certain part of it you wouldn't have thought to go look. And they like matched it with her wounds and things and whatever. So like clearly, because what they had said, someone had broken into their house, and then that's what happened, right? But there was no evidence of any kind of break-in or anything like that had happened. So then they went back and looked, and come to find out, actually this happened, a similar murder happened, same guy kind of involved, happened like years prior, same thing. Woman fell down the stairs, and she died, and same injuries, same sort of thing. And again, but it happened in Germany like years prior, so it was very similar. And they're like, well, this guy is involved in both of these kind of, so we're trying to that whole thing. But it's very good, very, very, very good.
so what you're saying is, if you're a woman,
Yeah,
buy a single floor home,
literally. Just
Oh,
live in
yeah.
a ranch. Just live in a ranch. Yeah.
no staircases,
Yeah. Just,
with no fireplace.
None. Oh.
Yeah.
So anywhere that's warm climate, and also Florida.
Yeah,
I mean, in Florida, you'll just be dumped in the water. So
yeah, right in the
no,
swamp.
true. And eaten by gators, which is
Yeah,
the best way to get rid of a body. I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
crabs.
That's good.
Oh,
That's good.
pigs.
Yeah, pigs.
Oh,
like,
pigs,
yep.
yes, they omnivores. They eat anything.
Yeah, hogs will clear a body in like a day.
Yeah, especially if it's chopped up.
I don't think it has to be chopped up.
That's true.
Let's
They just
find out.
Yeah, let's get it.
Which
Jason-
one of
Jason,
us?
just hop-
Next
hop
week.
in.
Next
Next-
week, everybody. We're doing a drawing. Who's going to get
Because-
devoured by hogs?
We can always get a new. We can always get a new noob. Can't get a new boob.
That's true.
Yeah,
I mean, we've had multiple replacements for. I mean,
yeah.
How
There's
dare you?
chickens for you.
How
we've
dare you?
we've had boobs and moobs in your seat.
Yeah.
Boobs and noobs.
Moobs.
Two noobs, two
Oh, moobs.
boobs.
Oh, moobs. I heard. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
moobs.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Moobs.
yeah, it is very interesting, and I don't know if like, I think that did we just turn into like a crime doc podcast?
We
For
can.
this episode only.
Okay, no, well, that's your answer. Joe doesn't
we're
want
for
to do it.
tech. We're for tech because mine had Snapchat. So
Oh, okay, yeah. So so back to your snap killer, right? So he had his location on,
Like
right?
an idiot.
Like an idiot, right? And then so he had his location on, and then his
I mean, that's why me and Nicole have ours on. So if we ever see each other like in the woods,
yeah,
And
we
I'm
know
like,
we know
first
when
of
to
all,
lie.
yeah,
dude, why are you in the woods without me? Second of
Exactly.
all, that's not where we usually go.
yeah,
Joe's in trouble. I'm gonna call somebody. Like,
yeah. So when is he on trial? Is there an update on this case? Like when did they catch him?
So that was 2021. Went to trial like February 2022.
mm,
Mhm.
okay.
Hold on. Already closed my tab. He was convicted. So find it. 2022. Oh.
Ouch.
Okay, so wait, what? In April. Yeah, he was found. Whatever. Okay. They filed an appeal and last update in April 2023.
Mm.
2 of Chandler Halderson's convictions related to hiding his parents' remains were vacated on procedural grounds. Halderson continued to serve a life sentence with no possibility of parole for
Parole.
murder and
Mhm.
dismemberment of his parents.
Yeah. It's probably like evidence tampering. That's probably what that means.
I mean,
Or
that's
not
a
tampering,
lot of
but
hate. Like that's a lot of hate to take the time to dismember somebody.
yeah. Did I tell you know how long it takes to dismember somebody?
Yeah,
Two
tell us.
people, by the way. Like,
It's 2 people.
one, it's the act of getting them out there, right? Getting them
Like-
into the car, out of the car, into the drum, or if that's how he transported the bodies, right?
Yeah.
Then it's the act of getting them out of. You ever try to carry? You know this, Jason. You would know more than we would because you know you
Because
know
I've
the whole
murdered
thing.
people.
No, because military and having
Yeah.
to carry somebody, a person,
Yeah, dead
right?
weight is not fun to carry.
It's not fun to carry, and you're doing that all alone, right? It takes a minute, and then it's the act of cutting the bodies up, right? You gotta get it through bone, skin, and muscle. Bone itself is so if you have the proper tools, which I'm assuming he does, is mostly like some kind of handsaw, and sharp one, right? So you got to get in there, and you're just
Hacking on
especially
that femur, you know. It's
especially a torso that's and its arms are missing, legs are missing.
but
It's just your upper
where do
body.
you go as a human being, right? Like where I can understand that you get mad at your parents. Everybody gets mad at their family, right? We're still
Yeah.
people, right? But
Mhm.
those people have raised you, spent the time, obviously was generally like gave a shit about your lifestyle, right? And gave a
Right,
shit
right.
about how you were going to be as an adult. So it's not like it doesn't. I'm not saying he wasn't, right? Because we can
Mhm.
go deep dive into like the Menendez brothers, right? But
Mhm.
I'm not saying that he didn't have a traumatic childhood, but from hearing this side, it doesn't sound like it. We don't know.
Right.
Again, I'm not going
Yeah.
to say that he wasn't, molested or whatever case
Or
may be. Right?
abused or
Yeah,
whatever.
abuse. I don't because we don't know, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
regardless, that hey, we're taking care of you. We're gonna make sure you're getting your stuff. We just need this thing. We're like they seem very interested in their child's life, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then because you're an asshole, you just decide like,
Right.
oh well, you
Ooh.
know what? Fuck you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Start
left.
fucking hacking body parts off. Like, where do you get
Yeah.
to that point in your life
Right.
to avoid a
Mhm.
situation?
Yeah.
Like
And then
a
I
circumstance.
left out. I forgot a point in the story.
oh, okay.
I'm going to read this from the article. Prosecutors also showed the jury a video that a neighbor's security camera captured the day they believe Bart and Krista were killed. It
Oh.
was a flickering light from a window in the Halderson home. Prosecutors say the flickering light was from their fireplace. So in the middle of July, he lit a fire. A forensic expert later testified that more than 200 human bone fragments were discovered in the Halderson's fireplace.
Oh, okay.
So he tried burning some of them, or was that
Prob-
other bodies? Who knows?
Probably something smaller, maybe like fingers or hands and feet.
Yeah, there's a lot of little bones in there. So, yeah. So his defense team argued that prosecution didn't have enough evidence to prove their case.
Oh,
They
okay.
claim no one really knows what happened inside the home,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid didn't testify.
Mm.
Right. So it was only a 2-hour deliberation where they found him guilty on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so after sentencing, Chandler told the judge he had something to say and asked if there were any lawyers willing to take on his appeal. So he didn't have anything to say during the trial, but now he's still waiting.
He's a manipulator. That's all it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, speaking, I mentioned the Menendez brothers. So you know that their trial is going to go. They're going back on trial now, right?
Yeah, I saw.
That's pretty interesting, right? And how when it happened during the 90s when they were trying to say, they were molested and stuff, and then during that time, you got the lawyers saying, well, men can't be raped. It's not
Yeah.
possible. It's not possible,
Yeah.
right? And just the
Yeah.
mentality that people had back in the 90s. And
Mhm.
now, they've served 30 plus years in jail. And what happened was, it was crazy, is this TikTok phase. Like, these kids are finding like old
Mhm.
crimes, and they're like, they're probably watching Netflix, watching all these crime docs, and they're just getting super interested in all these crimes that have happened in the past and
Yep.
the trials, and they go and start doing their own research, and then come to find out,
Yep.
like, well, maybe they weren't as, great. Did they kill their parents? Yes, 100%.
Yes, they did.
And
Yep.
they admitted to it, but
Mm-hmm.
if they felt like that was a way out,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
the
it's not first degree murder, it's
Mm-hmm.
aggravated manslaughter or whatever you want to call it,
Manslaughter.
right?
Yeah,
So,
manslaughter.
which in the terms of law, they've served their time. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that trial turns out, and if because there are some, like, the people that obviously tried the Menendez brothers, and there's some other people, like police officers, that just like, no, they fucking killed them cold blooded, So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be an interesting time to see how it goes.
How old were you then? Like 18?
No, I was 14, 13 years old.
Okay.
Because
Well,
that happened during that, all that was going on. I mean, that was a wild time during that, because we had the Menendez brothers happen first. No,
okay.
Menendez brothers, L.A. riots, O.J.
Mhm.
Simpson, Menendez
okay.
brothers.
All three.
That was
happened.
all in the same time period. It was like in that order. It was like it was Menendez,
Mhm.
L.A. riots, the Rodney King thing,
Oh, okay.
and then O.J. Simpson,
Right.
and then Menendez brothers again. So like they went to the Menendez brothers went to trial first, and they had
Mhm.
a split. It was like 6 not guilty, 6 guilty, right? Of first
Mhm.
degree murder. So it was like
Mm.
a hung jury, right? And then the
Mhm.
riots happened, and then OJ happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then LA was like, we're not letting these fucking kids get away with murder.
Yeah.
Like, we
Oh,
just
I
let
heard.
OJ get away with it. We're not letting these kids
Right.
get away with it. So it's
That's
like,
what I. Yeah, that's what I heard
yeah.
was the big ticket was because they, like you said, they let OJ go,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not letting these two kids go.
Yeah.
Who they blatantly said that they murdered their parents.
Yeah, and they said they did it, and then they, on their second trial, they weren't allowed to mention anything about their sexual abuse.
Right. Which is 80% of the reason
Yeah.
that it happened in the first place.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'll tell you, like
weird
I
time.
go, I go back and like I'm watching I watched like the Night Stalker one on Netflix,
Oh, so
right?
good.
So good, and you're
And
and like you
terrifying.
said, awful. And then like you're saying, the kids are really in. By the kids, you mean people who are a little slightly younger than us. But there's people who are watching these things and going, well, except for the Night Stalker one, of course. Well, I mean, they were abused, and like you said, in the '90s, men couldn't be raped. Like that wasn't a thing. And now, like 30 odd years later, now that we've had multiple, various, and a lot of different trials where these things have happened, and they've had gotten lesser sentences. Now I get it. Like they're and abuse is crazy. And then when you have if you feel like you're cornered, sometimes you do stuff you really weren't thinking you were capable of doing, but
Yeah.
you know, here we are.
Yeah, but I mean the age, like the golden age, right, or the dark age, whatever you want, however you want to look at it, of serial
Hmm.
killers is over, right? We'll
Yeah.
never have serial killers to the level we have. We'll have
No.
killers that like have killed like other gang members or whatever, multiple
Right.
like, and by definition could be considered a serial killer, but it'll
Hmm.
never be to the Hollywood status or the storybook where you got the whole fucking nation or the whole area just
Yeah.
terrified, like the Night Stalker or the
Hmm.
Zodiac Killer or Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer or you know
Because
Ted Bundy, like where
yeah.
people were just terrified, like
Yep.
the Son of Sam. All these people were
Hmm.
terrified, and they're like toying with the press, like you're not gonna catch me, like here
Yeah.
you go, like just fucking basically talking shit.
Hmm.
Like, and like the one guy, one of the serial killers, I don't remember which one it was, but he was like working with the fucking cops.
Oh, that's Ted. That's
He was just with the
Ted
cops, just fucking hanging out. Like, oh yeah, I think he went this way. The cops are like, oh, he's
it
such a good guy.
It was
He's so
Krasinski.
helpful.
Krasinski was his
Yeah,
last name. I
yeah.
don't know what his
It
first
was
name
just
was.
like, what the fuck, So I
Well,
mean, just the brazenness.
he was friends with all the police at the time.
Yeah,
But the reason why they wouldn't let he wanted to be a cop, but the reason why
Yeah.
they wouldn't let him be a cop because he was 6'5". He was
Yeah,
bigger than
yeah.
any other. They wouldn't let him because he was too big to be a police officer.
yeah. It's just wild, and just having that, like, I mean, like the Zodiac Killer could have been caught like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And like the San Francisco one where he shoots the taxi cab driver in the back of the head.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
gets out, walks, cop sees, like, hey, did you see anybody? He's like, yeah, he went that way. Like, I saw somebody
Yeah.
running that way. And the cops are like, okay,
Right.
sir. Drove away.
But also they were like because they were thinking they were looking for a black man, not for a white man.
I don't know.
Is what
They didn't mention that. But they just
I
said it was like a
remember.
big
I remember
person,
hearing
like
about it.
walking out.
Yeah.
But this guy he's a big guy. Like the Zodiac
Yeah.
Killer's a
Fit the
big dude.
description.
Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if it was I don't think they said that. I don't know if that's true or not. Like,
I remember
don't
hearing
remember
it.
that.
I
Yeah.
remember hearing about it. But anyway, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you just can't get away with murdering 15 people anymore. You just
No.
can't.
No.
It's not possible. You barely get caught. You can get caught by half murdering somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
I mean, like the girl in the camper thing, like the van girl.
Oh my God. I love that story. Even though I feel bad.
I
that she
work with a
died.
lady that's her cousin.
No.
Mhm.
First of all, can I tell you when they said that she was missing, I was like, she's dead. She's
Oh
been
yeah,
dead.
100%.
She's been dead for a month. There's no way you're missing for a month and no one sees you. You're dead. She's been dead.
Because
Right. And
Yeah.
she was tracking her whole trip. And then for 30 days she wasn't posting anything.
Yeah.
Avid followers, all the things, and like people are sending messages like, "Are you okay?" Da, 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 da. She's traveling with her boyfriend, and then you get dash cam footage of them like having an argument, and then with the police encounter with the police. And even then, she was terrified. And then shortly after that, he murdered her. Like he left. He either beat her enough where she was unconscious and then left out there to die, or he physically choked her to death and then left her body out there, and then animals and whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's just
and then
crazy to me. Just
and then
break
for
up
him
with
to
her.
drive all the way across
Right.
country back to his parents' house, hiding out in your parents' basement, and then
Yeah.
killing yourself like a
Yeah.
bitch.
Like, just kill yourself. Or not kill. I'm sorry, that's horrible. Just break up. Just break up with that person.
Right? She's not your wife. Why do you care? Just go. Like,
Yeah.
and that was
Like-
her van.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
It's just weird.
But I love her. No, you don't.
No,
you
you don't.
murdered her and left her in the middle of the desert, you moron. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Wild,
That's
wild
crazy.
times. But
Anyway.
Ugh.
one quick thing about the Zodiac Killer. So like he was wearing a mask,
Yes.
right? So he was like an avid diver, like he would dive, and he made his own wetsuit, and the kids helped him make that mask.
Red flag. If you're making your own wetsuit,
Yeah, the kids helped him
help them make the
that
wetsuit.
mask,
Shit.
the
Child
fucking
labor.
mask, right? Yeah,
That's
like
wild.
that's how wild that's. You need to watch it. Make sure you go watch it because it is.
I'll
amazing.
watch some. I'm gonna do this. I have some errands to run, so when I come home to get ready for this Halloween party I gotta go to later today, that's what I'm putting on.
What are you dressing as?
I have this. It's not imaginative at all. I wore like a unicorn onesie to my office Halloween party last year. I'm just gonna do that.
Okay. You're not.
And, like-
Are you bringing your boyfriend?
It-
Yeah, well, it's at the place he works. so
Oh, okay.
yes.
What's he going as?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it.
You guys
It's
should have
not-
gone as this, right? Couple costumes, right?
I'm not doing
You
that.
should have
We're
gone
not-
as
mm, okay.
a plug, and you're the inlet, and he's the plug.
Hun, that's so like
Ain't that funny as
base-
fuck?
basic bitch of you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to. What is the name of the store that takes over every empty store? What is it?
Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit Halloween,
Thank
and
you,
then just
Spirit.
buying a $50 costume.
No, you can make it. Just, anyways, all right. Well, anyways, Well, that was a fun little episode to talk about murder.
I
Again.
love murder. Big fan.
All right. Well, again, thanks you guys for hanging out. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notify while Joe's trying to pick out his little hoe outfit for Halloween. And you guys have a great, happy, safe Halloween. Get those candies.
wow,
Remember what time? Oh, real quick, I got some of those pumpkin ones. Pumpkin
Dude, can you
Reese's.
send it? Can you send it to the
Oh,
group?
Yes.
Bro, they're so good. Don't get me wrong.
I
And I know
know!
they're
Oh
only
my
designed
God.
for one thing, is to make you happy. But it doesn't look like a fucking pumpkin. It just looks like a goddamn chunk of chocolate. I
It
was so
looks like a-
mad. I was like,
it really-
I opened it up and I was like, what is this? Like,
It looks like a
solid.
turd.
Yeah, it's like a little fucking log. But it's so delicious. But anyways,
It's
go
good.
ahead and hit that like, subscribe, notify button over here.
Button.
Button. Nicole.
Oh, okay. I know where I am versus
You
where
had
you are.
it. You had
This
it.
way?
Just remember.
This one.
That works. There you go. Hit that little thing. Hit that like, subscribe, notification button. And we will see you next time. Toodaloo.
Bye. I love you. Mean it.